Hey guys, what's going on? This is Aussie Van Man. How y'all doing today? Now today we are at Titan II Missile Museum. Very excited about this. I was here about a year ago, did not make a video on it as I was taking a break from YouTube at the time. But we are back here, so let's head on in and check it out.
Welcome to the Titan Missile Museum. Your boat tour complex 571-7. This site was operational from 1963 to 1982. It's one of 18 silos here in the Tucson area. Before going on the tour, we're going to watch a brief video explaining the Cold War and the
down the stairs, going down into the silo. Okay guys, we're going down the staircase all the way to the bottom. Let's head on down.
You're now 35 feet below ground, and you're standing in what the Air Force has designated as a soft area. Look around.
Yeah.
The reason this is designated as a soft area is because in the event of a nearby nuclear blast, and by nearby, we mean a mile or more away. In the event of that kind of blast, which will generate a fireball the heat of the sun, about 100 million degrees Fahrenheit, and a shock wave 30 miles in diameter, all of this concrete and steel out here is going to be pulverized, turned to dust, and sucked up into the air. Now, if that bomb blast lands within a mile, and we're within that mile, this facility is within that mile, we are all toast. Okay? From the point where that bomb hits to a mile in diameter, everything in that area is going to be pulverized and destroyed. Now, if that bomb blast does happen a mile or more away, this area is being pulverized, but you're back here in our hardened area, you're going to be perfectly okay. 4 feet of reinforced concrete in the walls, 5 feet in the floors and ceilings, and 8 feet when you get out to the silo. Reinforced concrete, meaning they built a batch plant topside, so they can pour the concrete continuously, no stopping. As a result, there's no voids or air pockets in this concrete. In addition, they used rebar. You all know what rebar looks like. Only they didn't use rebar like this. They used rebar the size of that handbrake. And when they were all done, they sheathed the entire facility in a 1/4 inch of battleship grade steel, and then covered that with copper wires. The copper wires were to prevent an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, from coming into the facility. If that had happened, we would have lost everything electrical and everything electronic, and we'd be rendered useless. In addition to all that, we had 4 of these doors, just like you find at Home Depot. Steel I-beams welded together, milled surface on the door and a milled surface on the frame. Those milled surfaces are so precise that when we pull that door shut, it is airtight on the inside. Nothing bad is getting through that door. No radiation, no toxic fumes, nothing bad is getting through that door. How do you get through that door? Well, you're going to pick up that phone in the corner, and you're going to make your last of 4 telephone calls. First call you made was to get through that big front gate, topside. Okay, the second 2 calls you made were as you were coming down the stairs. You were being vetted. By the time you get here, we know exactly who you are. So we're going to ask you to press this open button. When you do that, someone at the commander's console has to simultaneously press a second open button. And that has to happen within 2 seconds of each other. And if it does, these huge pins are going to withdraw hydraulically. And then, folks, this is not Walmart. The store does not open by itself. The lowest ranking member of the crew would have to pull it open. How about you? You're not afraid to blow up a city, are you? Have you ever blown up a city? Good, there's a first time person. Have a seat over there. All right, folks, before we talk about this crew, let's talk about this facility. You're now in that dome-shaped structure. Crew's quarters up here, heavy equipment room down below. This is the command center. Let's talk about the crew's quarters. 2 double bunks, a very small kitchenette, and a bathroom, okay? They had 2 double bunks, but they rarely slept. Rarely slept. If they wanted to take a cat nap for an hour or 2, they could, but they're not sleeping 8 hours. They also had a kitchenette. They rarely cooked, because if they cooked, they have to clean up afterwards. So they ended up getting ice chests. They would stop at the local 7-Eleven or Circle K. They'd fill those ice chests with sandwiches and junk food, and that's what they would eat for the 24 hours that they were here. Now, the crew was here for 24-hour shifts, 10 24-hour shifts per month, which meant that they were here about every 3rd day. When they were not here, they were back at the Air Force Base. They were learning, practicing, doing all kinds of things. But most importantly, they were undergoing psychological testing, which I'm assuming both of you would have passed with flying colors, correct?
Correct.
Because we don't want squirrely people down here, all right? All right, now, this is the command center, all right? All of this equipment around me is mission critical. We needed to launch our missile. The problem is when that shockwave we talked about outside hits that outside wall, it's going to shake this room so badly that all of this equipment would have been destroyed. How did the Air Force protect it? Well, they came up with a very unique concept called shock isolation. When you walked in here, you didn't realize it, but you crossed over a little hump. That hump covers a 12-inch opening or void. That void goes all the way around this circular room. That can only mean one thing, right? This floor is not attached to the wall anywhere. You're all floating right now, and you're floating on these little springs. There's 8 of them around the room. It takes 2 people and 2 keys to launch a nuclear weapon in the United States. The second reason you were indispensable is because in order to do this, we need a launch order from the president. Every time the crew heard the preamble, every time, they got knots in their stomachs and they thought to themselves, this might be the last message we ever hear. Static's going on, you're both grabbing an emergency action message book, nothing fancy. You're going to open it up to the blank page, you're going to start writing down the 41 alphanumeric characters that he's reading off to you, and that you will ultimately decode. When he's all done, he's going to say, and I repeat the message, and at that point you 2 exchange books. And while he is repeating that message, you're checking the captain's work, captain's checking your work. You want to make sure it's right. Captain, your lieutenant looked at you and said, this is a launch order. Is there anything either of you think you should do before you annihilate target 2?
Verify.
There you go. That's why you're the captain. You need to verify the message.
Okay.
There's a very easy way to do it. We're going to go over to that safe. That's the emergency war order safe. There are 2 locks on that safe. The lock on the left belongs to the captain. The lock on the right belongs to the lieutenant. You were given those locks when you took this job. You own them. You were told to put combinations on them that no one would ever guess, and you don't know each other's combinations. There are 2 times when you can take the locks from that safe. The first time would be if there's a shift change. New people coming in from the Air Force Base, they're going to take your place. You're going to take your locks, you own them, you're going to take them with you to the Air Force Base, you're going to keep them on your person, and when you come back, you're going to put them back on the safe. If you lose the lock, you're going to Leavenworth for a really long time. Do not lose the lock. The second time you can remove the locks is if you have a launch order. We now do. She has one. The reason we need to get into the safe is twofold. Number 1, the keys are in the safe. Well, they're really not, because we took them out to place them in the consoles because that's convenient. But normally they're in the safe. In addition, there are approximately 45 of these verification cards. One of these cards could verify her launch order. Captain, you know there's 45 in the safe, right? You also know that you can only choose one. And you also know that you have 3 minutes to launch this missile. So what do all good captains do under those circumstances? And it starts with a D.
Delegate.
Delegate. There you go.
that. Okay,
That's why you're the captain, all right?
Jesus.
Now, we're close. Okay, on the word launch, you're going to turn your keys clockwise to the right, and you're going to hold them until I tell you to let go. Got it?
I am first.
Captain.
Real. 3, 2, 1, launch.
Very rhythmic. All right, sit back, have a cup of coffee and a smoke. You've done everything you need to do. You have started a process you cannot stop. Captain, if the president calls right now and says, Captain, I made a terrible mistake. You have 2 words for the president. Sorry, sir. You have a light here that says batteries activated. For the first time, the 2 batteries on the missile are being force-fed electrolytes. That's going to take 28 seconds. At the end of that 28 seconds, you're going to see an APS light, alternate power system. The missile's saying, guys, I don't need you anymore. I know exactly what to do. I know where to go. Let me at it. You're going to hear a funny sound. That silo's soft. That's that huge door passing through the tipsy system saying the silo is open for business. You're going to see a guidance go light. Guidance go means the missile is checking with the guidance system. It says, I know where I am, so I know where I'm going. There is only one thing left for this missile to do, and that is to fire engine and whistle. 58 seconds from the time you turn those keys to the time this 330,000-pound missile is lifting itself out of the silo, it is going to travel some 6,300 miles. It's only going to take 30 to 35 minutes because it's traveling at 18,000 miles an hour. And target 2 will be obliterated from the face of the earth. Nice job, ladies. Would you read what that says at the bottom in red?
I turned the launch key.
Ah, I did too.
And you killed 12 million people and annihilated a city in the Soviet Union.
Okay guys, now we are walking down to the silo. We're gonna see where the missile's at. Let's check it out.
Folks, what you're looking at is an authentic Titan II missile. That is not a model, a fake, or a mock-up. That is the real thing. Now, as you look at that missile in the silo, the question you should be asking is how in the world did the Air Force believe for a moment that they could get this missile out of the silo and send it 6,300 miles to hit the target? Well, they tested them. They took 51 of these missiles without warheads, and they took them to Vandenberg Air Force Base on the coast of California. Vandenberg was a testing site and they had reusable silos. These silos were not reusable, they're one and done, which means that's why we never tested out of them. Okay, so we lined the missiles up at Vandenberg and we aimed them in a small lagoon in the Marshall Islands. That was about 6,300 miles off the coast of California. And then we fired the missiles off one by one. We hit the target 87% of the time. Every time we did a test, every time, it was a Soviet mission all around. And everybody said, why don't we board the aerial? Why allowing them to be here? And the answer was, we didn't like it. We wanted them to know that we had the weapon. We wanted them to know that it worked. And we wanted them to know that we had the resolve to use it if necessary. The Soviets at the time had much larger payloads. Their payloads were up to 25. During that time period, NASA came in and bought 15 of these missiles. And we used them to the ice near the North Pole, and you can't see it from a satellite. And we can put 20 missiles on a single submarine. And each one of those 20 missiles can carry 10 warheads. That is an immense amount of firepower. That is more firepower than we have with all this range around Tucson.
Okay guys, we are back up top. We're going to look at the nose cone from the very top and see what it looks like. They are about to close, so we've got to get a hustle. Pretty crazy drop down there. Good thing they got a lid on the top here. So I was here about a year ago, and all these blue painted truck trailers and the helicopter and all that stuff wasn't here last year. It's kind of a cool addition that they've added on. This little four-wheel drive, that was here. That one was here last year, but none of this other stuff was here last year. Apparently, late last year, after I'd already been here, they added all this stuff in. It's very cool. It's all time accurate too. Look at this. Look at the nose cone there. The old U.S. Air Force truck. We're gonna try to get into the gift shop on the way out. Alright guys, so that was the museum. Had a lot of fun in there. Amazing to see. I'd love to see the new additions that they had in there. I think they actually also added a little security camera down there. I don't remember seeing that running on the little screen last time I was here, so I don't know if that was a new addition. But once again, I always love coming to the Titan II Missile Museum. It's really cool to see. I really want to go to some of the other ones across the country because I know that's not the only one. I think there's at least another one. Alright guys, let me know in the comments what kind of cool military places have you been, and whether you like this video, what you thought of this video. Alright guys, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Till next time, this is Aussie Van Man, and we'll see you next time. Catch you later. What's going on here?